welcome to Mondays with Sharon. Today I am going to be doing a palette declutter. I did declutter some palettes from my collection over on my Instagram page before the new year, and although if you were over there and you did watch that, you will know what palettes from this cluster I did declutter. The difference here is that I'm going to explain to you my thought process and throughout that declutter, and I'm also going to show you guys some of the palettes that are going to be in my maybe pile of sorts, which is basically some of the palettes that I already had after the declutter that I kept, that now I'm thinking about whether I still want to keep it or not. It's kind of like a trial process, and also I'm going to show you guys the palettes that I do plan to pan, because I'm also doing a project pan this year. So I'm just going to jump right into it today, or right now, because I am planning on filming all of the products within my collection, like face powders, concealers, blushes, etc. I do plan on doing that as well and sharing it with you guys, because I just wanted to start off the new year with things that I love, and everything that I don't use or love, pass it on to somebody that will use it and love it. So today we're working with palettes, and we're working with anything that has to do with the eyes as far as eyeshadows go. So singles, and yeah, singles. Let's see what else, just to get it out there. Let's see. Oh yes, there we go. I knew I was forgetting something. I did declutter, like I told you, some stuff over on my Instagram, and I took pictures of it, but I'm not gonna have two of those palettes. One of them being the Mini Star palette by Natasha Denona. I did find a home for that, so that's not going to be in this video. Also, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, that's also not going to be here because I put it up on my Poshmark for sale. If you're interested in that information, I will leave it down below as far as my Instagram Poshmark information. So let's get started. I think I'm going to start with the ones up front since they're closer to you guys. I tried to separate things by brand, but at the end of the day I just wanted to fit everything in the frame, so we'll just start in that corner over there. My Just My Luck palette by ColourPop, it is staying. I love these 9 p.m. palettes by ColourPop. Let me see if I could bring it closer to you without it getting blurry. So this color scheme, I love it just because the greens here, although they look kind of boring in the pan, I will admit that, you put them on your eyes, they come across so differently. And the greens, especially these olive greens over here, oh my goodness, they're just so beautiful, especially that Mary Jane shade. I know it looks kind of funky in the palette, but it's really beautiful. These greens also, when everything just works together so amazingly. So this one will be staying. And another reason that I love these ColourPop palettes is because I can't do it now because I don't have a little needle, but you can pop these out and travel with them. Like, let's say I just want Mary Jane, I can just pop it out and take that with me. That's it. So I love that because of, that's another reason I love this palette. So there's that. The Orange You Glad is definitely staying. This palette was actually one of my top 10 palettes, if you watched that video. If not, I'll just link it down below, or I'll link it towards the end of this video. But this palette I love because no matter what you do, you'll always get a obviously it's monochromatic, meaning that it's only in one color. But there's so many different variations of orange here that no matter what eyeshadow look you create, it's gonna look different from the next. So I really enjoy that. The Clementine shade is gorgeous, but it is glitter. Glitters and me, we're not really, we haven't been getting along, just because after the whole environmental factor, it's not good for the environment, and to be honest, it's just, they're too messy for me, and I only like to wear them on special occasions because of that, because they're so messy, and I don't like cleaning up after the fact, you know. So I've kind of been slowly weaning myself off of glitter, and yeah, so let's see where that takes me. So this one is definitely staying. The Blue Moon by ColourPop. This one, I am going to be putting it in the maybe pile. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful palette. But I'm going to show you a little later in one of my other ColourPop single shadow palettes. I already own most of these shades in singles from ColourPop. And if I don't own them in singles from ColourPop, I have them somewhere else in my collection. So I'm really thinking about what I'm going to do with this palette, if I'm going to pass it on or if I plan to stay with it. I'm just going to play with it for the time being, so it will be in my maybe pile for this year. Oh, yes, another reason now, since we're coming up on the Honey palette, which I am keeping, another reason that I haven't been getting along with glitters is because I really love shimmers. Shimmers is a really great substitute for glitters in that it doesn't harm your eyes. It's great for the environment. Compared to glitters, it's just a better option and it has the same effect. So I do prefer shimmers. So if I can replace a glitter with a shimmer in my collection, that's always a plus. Now as far as this palette goes, I have Palooza twice over. I have it here in this palette and I have it in singles because I bought the She's a rainbow palette, and it's also in that one, I believe. But I love this palette. It is similar, like you do get similar looks because yellow is just only so much you can do with yellow. But I still love it just because of those shimmer shades. They really make the difference with this palette. So I will be keeping this one. The Smoke Show palette. This I picked up towards the end of last year, and I'm glad I did because after decluttering the palettes that I've been, decluttering, I have stood basically without any basic colors like the black and the white. So I wanted a palette that not only included that but also included the shades that I've been looking for, which is that shade right there or any variations of gray. Because like I said, I want shimmers because not only do I want mattes to make definition, but I also want shimmers to add that pop to my looks. All those shades and obviously the essentials really made the palette for me. I'm not too crazy about grays. Grays kind of they make me look dead, so I will be staying with this palette. Now moving on to Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty. I love Huda Beauty. I love her palettes. So last year I did declutter her Ruby Obsessions 9-pan palette because I just didn't see myself using reds. I don't really wear reds like that. I just don't feel they complement me, but I still wear them once in a while depending on what look I'm creating, but I don't like reds. So I decluttered that one. My point being that I do declutter regularly throughout the year. I don't just wait for one point in the year to sit down and do this. This is just for you guys. I declutter regularly, constantly, because if I don't like something, I get it out. If I'm not using it, I get it out and find somebody who will. So there are some, not all the palettes that I'm getting rid of today are palettes that I decluttered that last time. I do declutter regularly, one of them being the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions. Now that said, let's move on. Huda Beauty Amethyst Obsessions. I am not a huge fan of purple shadows, but I do love mauves, which I guess you could say is within the purple family. But the reason I like this palette in particular, and I did keep it, is because of the mauves and the darker, I don't know what you would call that color, but it's a deep purple. So I love those colors. I love the pinky ones and this one. I love them all. The purple I don't really care too much about, but it kind of makes me laugh seeing as it's a purple palette, and for the most part that's the only true purple that I see here. But that's why I love the palette. I really love all those other shades. Let's see, next one, talking about purples and mauves and all that other good stuff. Another one of my favorite palettes, her Mauve Obsessions. I see a lot of people always decluttering this palette, but oh my goodness, look at how beautiful that is. I really love the pinks and the deep reds and oh man, they're just they really make that palette, especially this one over here. This burgundy shade is so beautiful. This one over here I'm not too fond of. I just don't like it, but it's really good to deepen some of the other looks, so it has its purpose. This palette is going nowhere. This is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions, and I really enjoy it. Oh, it kind of goes for my nails. This one right here, and these two down here. Even this one, when you look at it in the right light, oh man, they're just so gorgeous. All of them are beautiful. But this one right here, I made a little dent right there. That's how much I use it because I really love it, especially for the inner corner or halo eyes. Really good. The thing that I like about her palettes, compared to the 9-pans from ColourPop, is that let me show you. When you look at her palettes, her 9-pan palettes, she likes to put colors in the palette themselves. You'll see it more in the Sapphire palette. ColourPop kind of does it, but not really. She puts colors in here that are not just green. She puts colors that complement and really go with the other color schemes or the color story. So I really enjoy her because of that. I'll show you that within the blue palette because you could really see it there. But like these olive greens, I really like that she doesn't just stick to like some of the green. She goes to the extreme of one green, and then she goes to the other extreme. Like she goes really light and then she goes really dark as well. So I really enjoy that. This one's just not going anywhere. Let me get the Blue Moon so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, here's the Sapphire Obsessions. This was not going anywhere. Now the reason that I really enjoy this blue one, excuse me, is because you see this, where the heck do you see blue in that? That chartreuse is basically just a mix of yellow and green. Pulling more yellow, of course. You don't see that in this palette. All you see in here is blue. Even that gray right there that looks really gray, that has blue in it. This is all blue, with the exception of this white that actually has blue as well. She really plays with color in the sense that you play with this and this, you know, you make any eyeshadow look with that chartreuse color and one of these blues, and it'll look beautiful. It just works. That's why I enjoy her 9 pans, because she doesn't just, you know, go with the blues. But even this gray here, it looks gray, but just like the one in the ColourPop, it does have blue in it. But that's why I really enjoy her 9 pans. And again, you'll see it in that neon palette, where she, obviously this is the neon orange that she came out with last summer. Obviously you have your oranges and your corals, but then she also brings in colors that would look amazing with those oranges, like that kind of chartreusey shimmer, the beautiful acidic yellow, the fuchsia. It just works. I know it may not look it to you, but it does. And that's why I love this palette as well. Huda knows how to get your money. So, and also that neon orange was one of my top 10s as well. Let's see where we can start from these palettes. Let me start pushing stuff up. Let's see, Natasha Denona. This one I got around Christmas. No, I'm lying. I actually got this one. This is the gold one, mini gold. Let me see. Yeah, this is the mini gold palette from Natasha Denona. I got this one actually a couple of days right before my wedding, because my dad got this one for me. We were at New York and we stopped by the big Sephora in Times Square, and I ended up wanting this one and he picked it up for me. So this is what she looks like. She's really pretty. I actually picked it up because of these colors right here, and even this one over here. The black one I'm not a fan of. I'm just gonna put that right out there. I hate that black. Don't see the purpose in it in this palette. Maybe later on as I play more with it I'll see why, but I hate it there. These are the colors that really make the palette. So I will be keeping this one. I'm thinking about if I should put it in the maybe pile, but I'll think about it. The Natasha Denona Mini Lila. This was the last palette of 2019 that I picked up. This one is definitely going into the maybe pile. I did play with it, and the formula is a little wonky, which explains why they had it for like 12 bucks on Sephora. But I picked it up anyways just because of this color right here, and even this one here. I wanted a deep kind of burgundy eyeshadow with the Natasha Denona formula, and yeah, it kind of looks burgundy on my eye, but the formula of this mini, it's going in the maybe pile. So let's see. Next one, Natasha Denona Camel palette. This beautiful thing is staying, and it is staying until it's on its last leg. I got this, if not last year, the year before, and I got it because unlike the mini ones, you can't pop these shades out, but you can pop these out. You see, that's what the little holes are for. You can pop these out. You could exchange them between the bigger ones, and I really love that, especially because I wanted shades like these that I can use in the crease to transition. That's why I wanted this palette, and all of the shades I really enjoy, so this one's staying. Okay, now the next 4 palettes, let me go over this one really quickly. This one I am going to be pausing on. Is I'm decluttering it. This one's the Cara Beauty Smoky Blue palette. The reason I want to pass this one on is because although I really love blues and I really love this palette, the eyeshadow formula here, it's a little dry. That's what you can expect from a matte shadow. But I just don't see myself using this 24/7 and getting the most out of it. I would rather pass it on to somebody who will. So I will be posting it up on my Poshmark. And yeah, it's a shame because I really, don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy this palette. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, oh man, especially because of this shade right here, this one, these three, just all of it. These two are very similar, these three are very similar. Yeah, so but I know I have most of these in either my Blue Moon or somewhere else in my collection, so it's finding a new home. Alright, I'm just making little piles off on the side. Alright, now these three palettes over here, they're all from Morphe, and it's pretty sad. There's nothing wrong with the Morphe formula. I'm just going to put that out there right now. There's nothing wrong with the Morphe formula. The reason I'm passing these on, well, let me just go through it. This one right here, I did find that some of the shadows in this palette in particular are a little bit patchy, especially the deeper tones. I do love every single one of these colors. Oh, they're amazing, especially these right here. The deeper ones, they're beautiful, but I did find other dupes within my collection that I would prefer to use over these, and that's the reason why I'm passing this palette on. I'm gonna probably be putting this up on my Poshmark, but it is going. The reason this one's going is because, here we go. The reason I'm passing this one on is because after getting my, I think it's my Gemini, after getting my Gemini palette, I really didn't see any other use for this palette, because the reason mainly I picked up this palette was because of these greens right here. And I basically have all of those greens, not only within this palette, but within other ones, other palettes in my collection. I mean, I really love those oranges there, those reds right there, but I already have all of these colors in more desirable palettes, so I am passing this one along as well, probably going up on my Poshmark. And the reason I'm getting rid of the Jaclyn Hill palette is not because of the formula. Again, this is actually the best Morphe formula that I've tried. The other ones are a little bit drier. This one is the creamiest that I've tried from them. I'm pretty sure you've seen this palette a million times before. Another thing I really didn't like about this palette is just that there's too many shadows. Way too many shadows in here that are too different, and nothing seems cohesive in my brain. Individually, they're all amazing shadows, they're all beautiful, but as I'm looking at it right now, nothing makes sense. It just doesn't. So I already have most of these shades duped out in my collection as well, so this one's going up on Poshmark. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna get these out of the way real quick since they're bigger palettes. The Gemini and the Smoke Sessions aren't going anywhere. I just picked these up last year towards the end of the year. I told myself that I was not gonna pick these up when they first launched, but man, something just told me pick them up, and I did. They're beautiful, and I'm glad I really did. These over here are Life. Lorelei is gorgeous too. These, I might have them in, you know, other palettes that I own, but man, the formula is just so buttery smooth and so pigmented, and I'm really glad I got this palette. It's too beautiful. So that one's staying. The Smoke Sessions, this one is really unique in itself as well. The reason I really like this one, because there's only literally 2 mattes in this palette, those are actually one of my favorites within this palette, are the shimmers. Oof, the shimmers, man. These look like liquid gold on your lids. It looks like you literally went into the shower, dipped yourself in a bath of glitter. You just look like the sun. You look like the sun when you wear these shimmers. So this was a beautiful palette, and I am staying with it. Okay, let's see. Let's start over here. Marc Jacobs. This I got as a birthday present from my mom, and guess what? I am passing it on to my mom because although I love the formula, Marc Jacobs shadows are amazing, but I just I have these shades here elsewhere in my collection, and although this is what makes a palette for me personally, I'm not gonna keep this palette just because of those 3 shades over here. You get what I'm saying? So I'd rather pass it on to Mom. I know that she's gonna absolutely love it. She's waiting for it, so I'm gonna pass this on to her. Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. This was my second to last palette I bought last year. No, lies. My third to last. And this is going nowhere. I love this, and I'm really glad I did pick it up because I was debating whether to pick this one up or another one. These blues, those yellows and greens, oh, especially those greens. I'm a sucker for greens, so I'm excited for that. And you know, when this first launched, the reason I didn't want to pick it up was simply because when you look at it online, it looks like a hot mess. Just like that Jaclyn Hill palette, it looks like a hot mess. But you have to remember that Natasha Denona, the way she does things, she does everything with a purpose as far as eyeshadow goes. So, for example, this right here is a look. And it's a beautiful look. You might not see it yet, but it's, oh man, that right there is a look. Remember, because she does everything by threes or diagonally, whatever her formula is. This right here is a look. And this is a really deep olivey green, and that's a gorgeous shade. Oh man. This right here is a beautiful look right there. That's a beautiful look. You guys don't see it, but once you start thinking the way that Natasha thinks, everything makes sense. So this palette does make sense, and it's in person. I'm telling you, if you can have the chance to look at it in person, please do so, because the pictures online do no justice to this beautiful palette. So this is definitely staying. Alright, this is an Empty MAC palette. I purchased this, I don't know why I purchased this, but I purchased this one and I purchased another one. I ended up giving the other one away with shadows in it. Not MAC shadows, but Morphe shadows, because they fit into their layout thing. So this one's just an empty one. This one's I'm going to put in the maybe pile. If I can find something to put in this within my collection, I will keep it. If not, I will be passing it on to Poshmark or something else. Alright. ColourPop singles. These aren't going anywhere. I don't have any of these colors within my collection, and I got these for a purpose, just in case I need any color from here to fill in any gap within any look. So these are staying. Pick them out for a reason. She's All That ColourPop from ColourPop. This one's not going anywhere. This is a part of my top 10 eyeshadow palettes because although I do have colorful shadows within other palettes in my collection, these are just colors that I don't have in those. They're just different. So these are going, and these I do have some of those glitters here, you see. I will be keeping those just because, you know, they just complete the palette, and on top of that I do still use glitter. I'll explain more about the glitter when we actually get to glitter singles. So that's staying. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy, guys. It's just the weather's not helping. We're in pure winter out here. Lorac Pro Matte. This one is going. The reason it's going is because I already have all these shades within my collection, and the Lorac shadows, I know I hear a lot of people saying that the formula is really dry and powdery. Yes, but they're actually very, very buttery, and I do love that Lorac. This Lorac palette in general. I did own the first one. I ended up putting it on my Poshmark because I wasn't using it. So this one I'm gonna pass on to my mom because I know she loves these type of colors as well, especially this pink, mauve, and burgundy. She'll love that. She uses these type of shades for her grays and for her eyebrows, so she'll love this. And I did make some dips in some of them already, but it's gonna find a good home, and I already have these shades, so I don't wanna take away the attention from one of my other palettes that I could be using. My Charlotte and Bloom. This is a special case. I used this palette on my wedding day, and I bought this actually in my graduation. It was a graduation present for myself. I love this palette, and I am going to be giving it away. Correction, I'm going to be decluttering it, but I am not going to be giving it away. I'm keeping this for safekeeping or whatever, memorabilia. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with this one. I love these shades. I've noticed that with the formula, it's kind of been declining over the year because I got this in 2017. May 2017 to be exact. So the formula, the mattes are still performing pretty great, but you could tell with some of the shimmers that they're kind of like getting just dry. So yeah, I will be keeping this. Decluttering it, but keeping it. I know it's kind of confusing. These next 4 palettes, I'm keeping all of them. They're basically the last three are Natasha Denona, and here's my new nude by Huda Beauty. I purchased this at the beginning of last year, if I remember correctly. I love these shades. It is within my top 10, and the reason being because all of these for me are literal nudes. I know that for some people, browns and like taupe colors and whatever, those are considered nudes or whatever. For me, it's more of those mauvey light pinks, true beigey colors. Those are nudes for me, so that's why this palette is perfect for me, and it is staying. The glitters, again, you know, it's within the palette, so it's good. The only thing that's bad about this palette, I don't know what the hell Huda was thinking, but that concealer shade, you don't put cream products with powder products. It's gonna expire way faster than all the other products. But anyways, I still love this palette, and I really hope to get a lot of use out of it this year, so that's staying. Natasha Sunset palette. I really do believe this was my first Natasha Denona palette, and I love it. It's a perfect warm tone palette. I haven't been using it as much as I should be, but I really hope to change that this year, because look at how beautiful it is. It's just gorgeous, especially these oranges. It's just everything in this palette. It's staying. My Natasha Denona Tropic palette. This palette got a lot of flack because of the formula. To me, it performs just great. Some of these, though, I will say, I do agree with people, especially with the Tiger Lily and the Mint Frost and the Exotic. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Let me try to, like, it kind of has like a little bit of hard pan. So I can see where people are complaining with that, but the mattes still perform beautifully. They're beautiful shades. I still use them though. I found a way to use them, trust me. I'm getting my money's worth. I did get this one on sale. Correction, my husband got it for me on sale a year or two ago. So that one's staying. The Natasha Denona Star palette was my second to last palette that I purchased last year, and boy am I glad. Guys, you don't understand the hoops I went through to find this exact palette. I told you guys that I decluttered my Natasha Denona Mini Star palette last year, and I gave it to my mom because obviously this is where basically most of the inspiration for it came from. So that I would have had dupes basically. That's why I got rid of it. Not because there was anything wrong with it, but I already basically have them within this palette. Another reason I picked this up is literally because of these shades. The light pinks, oranges, and the deeps. So I had been looking basically for a palette that had those light pinks and those reds within the Natasha Denona collection palettes that she has, and I thought that the Lila palette had it, but once you did more investigation and you really looked at it, because people just, the pictures that they take, it doesn't have the exact color within the pictures. It's hard to explain, but once I kept on looking and comparing photos, people's different photos, the colors just weren't there, and I really looked into this palette, and when I found it, I was like, oh my god, thank god that I found it, because these are exactly what I was looking for in this formula. And it's even better because the greens and the blues that I was looking for are also within this palette. So I really, really, really enjoy this palette, and it is here to stay. That was a boo-boo that I had, but it's okay. I'll still use it. So I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but we're almost done. Hey guys, this is Sharon, editing Sharon from the future. Well, I had a little bit of a boo-boo with my eyeshadow palette video. I not only misplaced my ending footage with the singles, but I also managed to lose the outro. I know. Things happen, accidents happen, trust me. But anyways, I will be taking care of that right now since I'm already here. And I'm in the final editing stages, so I'm just going to plug this into where that belongs. I'm going to tell you guys how much I kept, how much I decluttered, yada yada yada. And yeah, from there I'll give you your outro, and we'll continue life as if this never happened. Alright, so I'm going to do something with my little background right here, and then I'll post it on my video editor thingy, and we'll continue as normal, as planned. Alright. So, right over here, I'm going to show you guys what I kept, what I decluttered, what I put in my project pan, which should be nada, what I will be putting in my maybe pile. Alright, now that that's done. The reason that there's nothing in my project pan is simply because I use all of my eyeshadow palettes in rotation, so I really don't need to put anything in a project pan because they all get the same amount of use for the most part, since I do keep them in that rotation. With that said, that's everything. I will keep you guys posted on what other videos are coming because I have multiple videos, guys. It's not just one and done. I have multiple videos, so I will keep you updated on that. I'm also gonna be, after I do these, I don't know if I want to do this afterwards, but I think I'm gonna have to because there's just so much that I have to edit. After I finish all of these videos, I'm gonna go up onto my blog and put everything in depth, like in depths. Jeez, I just can't say that word. I'm gonna put all of these pictures and just everything on my blog so that you guys can see it. But yeah, I think that's everything as far as that goes. As far as the eyeshadow singles though, that one's gonna have to wait till the very end of all of these videos because it was supposed to go right up. Austin, sorry, my baby's here. Check it out. Check him out, guys. Check him out. He's so cute. He just got groomed, so his ears are so luscious right now. He's like a supermodel. Oh my goodness. But anyways, that one's gonna have to go up all the way at the end of all of these videos because it was supposed to go up after this video, literally in the same video, but I lost that footage, so we're just gonna have to make do with what we have and just put that one towards the end, which is fine. It's only singles, and that one, you know, I can film it pretty quickly. So yeah, I'll let you know when that one comes up. The next one should be the brow one, so I'll put that one up as soon as I put this one up, and I think that's everything. So if you like this, like, share, subscribe, do whatever your little heart desires, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.